Hello, my lovelies. It's Susanna, and today I want to show you how to solve this equation here. I want to show you two different ways how to solve it. A first way that I think that most people will use, and a second way that is way faster. Let's start with the first way. If we take a look at this equation here, we can see that we have a fraction here on the left side, and in the denominator of this fraction, we have x. And if we want to solve this equation for x, we have to get x out of this denominator. And we can get x out of this denominator by multiplying both sides of the equation by this denominator. So we multiply by x here, and we do the same thing on the other side as well. If we multiply here, we can cancel x out, and only the numerator is left. So we have x cubed plus x on the left side, and on the right side, we have 2x. Okay, so we got rid of the fraction. Now we have a part with x cubed here, a part with x, and here's another part with x. Let's bring all parts with an x to one side of the equation. So let's take the 2x and let's bring them to the left side here as well by subtracting 2x on both sides of the equation. So here we have x cubed, then 1x minus 2x is minus 1x, and on the other side this cancels out and we get 0. This is how our equation looks like now. On one side we have 0, on the other side we have two parts, and in each part we have x in here and x in here, which is great because then we can factor out x. Let's do it. If we factor out x, what is left in my parentheses then? On the other side, we still have 0, but here I want to factor out x now. We have the minus here in between, so let's write down the minus already. If I factor out x out of x to the power of 3, I only have x to the power of 2 left. And here, if I factor out this green x, how many x did I have here? I had 1 x. So if I factor out this green x, my 1 is left. So don't forget to write down the 1 here. Okay, this is perfect now because we have the following structure. Something times something is equal to 0. And every time this is the case, you are allowed to write this one equation as two separate equations. So you take your first part, the x here, and either this has to be equal to 0, or the second part, so everything that is in the parentheses here, the x squared minus 1, or this part is equal to 0. And now we solve these two equations separately. Well, the first equation is already solved for x, so here we have our first possible solution. And here, this equation, we have to solve for x still, so let's bring the negative 1 to the other side by adding 1 on both sides of the equation, so that we have x squared here. This cancels out, and on the other side, we get a 1. To solve for x, we have to get rid of the square here, so let's take the square root on both sides of the equation. Every time we do that, we get two solutions for our x. A first solution, x1, and a second solution, x2, that is going to be negative. The square root of 1 is just 1, and then we also get the negative 1 here as a negative solution. We have one solution, a second solution, and even a third solution for our x, But let's take these possible solutions and let's go back to our original equation. Why do I say possible solutions? Well, we had a fractional equation here where x is in the denominator. And it could happen that we divide by 0, which is not allowed. So now we have to check these solutions if they are really solutions for this original equation. Because, for example, here, if we insert the 0 for the x here, we would actually divide by 0, which is not allowed. So this 0 here is not a solution to this equation. So always check your results. The 1 is fine because we had divided by 1. It's okay, you can do that. The -1 is okay because we can divide by -1. So these are the solutions to this equation here. But I promised you to show you a second, way faster way how to solve this equation. This time, we won't multiply by the denominator here. We first check if we can simplify something here on the left side. So we leave the x here in the denominator, but here in the numerator, we have x in this part, and we have x in this part, so let's factor out an x. If we factor out x, what is left in my parentheses then? I have the plus here in between. I had x cubed here. If I factor out 1x, I'm left with x to the power of 2. And here I had 1x. If I factor out the green x, only the 1 is left. And on the other side, we have the 2. Now we have a multiplication here, so we are allowed to cancel things out if it's possible. And yes, I can cancel x here, and only what is left here in the parentheses, my x squared plus 1 is left, and on the other side, the 2. And now let's solve this for x. Let's bring the 1 to the other side by subtracting 1 on both sides of the equation, so that here we have x squared left, because this cancels out, and on the other side, 2 minus 1 is 1. To solve for x, let's get rid of the square here by taking the square root on both sides of the equation. We get two solutions then for our x, a first positive solution and a second negative solution. The square root of 1 is 1, and then we also get -1 as a second result. Of course, you have to check these solutions here again, so don't forget to insert them into your original equation and make sure that you don't divide by 0. But this way was way faster. I'm curious how you solved this problem, so please let me know in the comments. I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Take care!